Three chairs. I went through a major transition in my life in 1994, and I would like to introduce you to that transition. I was in a state of depression and on the verge of suicide because I had failed in so many things. This transition is partly a true awareness of the operations of beings in a parallel realm, in a spirit realm, that is affecting us. I grew up in a family that was school psychologist dad and juvenile psych nurse mom. I grew up in the Freud and Jung religion, in the business of mental illness. And in that business, you are not allowed to talk about spirits, even though Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud were actually channeling and receiving their information from spirit beings. This they've even mentioned. Curious. So I was under so much depression. I was friends with the two primary types of suicide spirits. The noisy little complaining ones, oh, I should just end my life. And the business-like ones. Here's how I will plan it. It will be neat and tidy. No one will have to see a mess. I just want to stop being a problem to people. And I want to stop having to face the failures in my life. It was bad. It was really bad. I was so depressed I couldn't get out of my bed and move a sock from one side of the room to the other side of the room. I was under. If you don't believe that there are spirits that actually hate human beings and love to see human beings defile and hurt themselves and perform in a way that's anti-life and anti-goodness, then you're probably not going to want to give me much time. So you can sign off now. But if you're at least curious, hang on. So, I'm here. Depression, suicide, worthlessness. Can't handle my wonderful businesses responsibly. Hating myself. Trying to maintain more relationships than I possibly can. Just because I have a love obsession with people and a fascination and a joy about people, it gets me in trouble. And I've just screwed everything up constantly over and over again. And I do not want to live. Then I went through this transition. And now, I want to be alive so badly that I wish I had another lifetime and another lifetime to live. Because I get it. I am so happy to be alive now. I want to be able to live longer and longer and longer because I lived the better part of 40 years stupid. This position right here, that position was because of ignorance. And because I was surrounded with parents and elders and teachers and pastors and leaders of every sort that refused to be consistently focused on what's honest and true and valuable, starting with the afterlife and the spirit realm. If you're doing business, okay, all right, if you're doing business, you have to consider all the angles, right? If you're going to start a pizza parlor, just because your grandmother loved yellow and she made a pizza doesn't mean you're going to do great by starting a pizza parlor and painting the inside of it yellow in remembrance of your grandmother. You have to figure out how pizza parlors go out of business and what the bottom line is for the business. I'm an entrepreneur. I love business planning. I'm not the greatest administrator in the world, but man, I can go through soup to nuts details and launch things and invite people into them. So, pretend your life is a business, okay? The one thing about your life business is you know that it ends. So if you don't study about the end of life and beyond the end of life, you may just be evaluated as a horrible life business person, and you may be evaluated as a loser. You're fired. Sayonara, sucker. If you don't take the time to sit down and think that there's visible things and there's invisible things, and what if there's an invisible realm with actual active beings in it? Okay. I'm going to tell you about the transition right here. Here's the transition. Here's the transition point. I'm over here, depressed, screwed up, full of problems. There are a handful of people who are consistently being kind to me. My business people have disappeared. My relationship people have disappeared. My marriage is gone. And these people are consistently kind to me. They're friendly, they care. I don't especially like them in their style. Some of the things that they're doing are diametrically opposed to what I consider to be interesting, artistic, and fun. But they're consistently kind to me. And because of these people, and because they actually go to an effort, they actually serve me, and they actually ask me as a response to their service if I might come and spend some time with them. So I go and spend some time with them. And what I do with them is I sing. Okay? I like to sing. And I'm singing with these people. Now, fast forward 2 years beyond that point when I'm singing with these people. 2 years beyond, When I get discernments about the spirit realm, I realize that as I am singing with these people and sitting in their midst, the depression and suicide spirit beings who hate humans and want them to be sad and bitter, and they want them to take their own hand and kill themselves, destroy, end the breath of God, end the face of God, cut the body of God. Those spirits could not handle the singing that I was engaged in. And they could not handle the fellowship that I was in, because the fellowship that I was in was being cheerfully devoted to, with a childlike heart, the highest spirit or the strongest spirit. And we're not even going to describe that highest spirit or strongest spirit in any terms right now. But I'm telling you that because I gathered with people who were gathering together in their diversity and in their messed up human lives, they were gathering together in order to focus on and speak to and sing appreciation and thanksgiving to the highest spirit. When I was in that position with those people who had been consistently kind to me, the spirits that were afflicting my human soul could not handle that atmosphere, and I began to be able to hear instruction that led me away from the foolishness that got me locked down in that whole scenario anyway. And as I listened, I didn't even agree with all of the things that were being presented, or even the tone of the presentation, or the implications or requirements or the costume of the people. I didn't agree with a bunch of the stuff, but you know what? I was learning powerful things that I had wished that I had had in place in my business, in my marriage, in my friendships, in my travels, in my physiological care for my own being. And now, I am speaking to even those in the transition environment to say, hey, I was refreshed by my transition. The people that helped refresh me could have done a lot better. A lot better. And I wish I could stay alive for about 3 lifetimes to tell you the sweetness of this story. I invite you to come to a bonfire on Friday night in Highland City, Florida. The sign out in front of the building says Lakeland Church of God. But I tell you the truth, it is not that. It is a bike church, a paddle canoe church, an everyday community center, a prayer place, a cool little garden run by people from India who are bringing in types of stuff that I've never seen before to grow it. Children coming in from the neighborhood to go for long bike rides in these beautiful nature preserves right next to us. I'm in a county with 544 natural lakes and some amazing rivers and 88 boat ramps. And we've got a canoe and a kayak, 2-man kayak. I am beginning an honesty family here to be immersed in 24/7. If you need to take a transformation vacation, talk to me. Let's talk. I've found an atmosphere where there are some brothers and sisters and some spiritual family that I can hang with, I can stand with. We aren't totally in agreement on everything, but I feel honored and respected and handled with respect. And as a male human being, I need a little bit of that. I am a fine grandfather, and I could have been a great dad. And I tell you the truth, in the days to come, in this neighborhood, God willing, I will be a father to my own fostered and adopted children. Marriage or no marriage, there is a children epidemic going on because of easy intimacy on the web. People watch television shows, right? Soap operas. And now you can throw yourself onto a dating site and get into your own soap opera and end up hanging yourself by the neck and ruining other people's lives because you don't know what you're doing with your spirit. I'm telling you, it's rough. And the children just get ditched. They just get set adrift to go crazy. The buck stops here. Come here and help me build Honesty Family. But first you need to learn about the transition. And we'll do that as well as we can. 3 chairs. May you have 3 chairs. A nasty chair and a total joy chair. May you get your transition.